Absolute and relative coordinate entry using AutoCAD 2013 educational version. In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to draw lines using the absolute and relative coordinate entry method. So to start off with, I'm going to type in line. And you can see when I type in line on the screen, the different commands come up. This is called dynamic input. And when I click on enter and now draw my line, you will see that the distance that I'm drawing and the angle I'm drawing show up. This may or may not help you sometimes when you're drawing things. So I'm going to right mouse click here, click cancel, left mouse click, highlight, hit delete. Okay, so I'm going to come to the bottom of the screen, and right here there's one called dynamic input, and it is F12, and it is toggled on right now. When I toggle it off and now type in line, you'll see that it doesn't come up, and I can now just draw lines without that. Again, you may or may not want this when you're drawing something. So I have it toggled off, and we're going to leave it off for this tutorial. Now I'm going to type in line once more, and I'm going to start my absolute coordinate entry. Absolute coordinates is based on the XY grid, and you're going to have to start at a set point to complete your drawing. So in this case, I'm going to start at 1.5, comma 3.5, direct entry to where I'm going to start. That is 1.5 units from the x-axis of 0 and 3.5 units up on the y-axis from the 0. So there's my first point. Next, what I'm going to do is go to the next point over, which is going to be 4, comma 3.5. So that's 2.5 units over. Then I'm going to go up 1.5 units. So I'm going to type in 1.5, sorry, I'm going to type in 4, comma 5, which is going to take me up 1.5 units. Then I'm going to go back to 1.5 on the x, stay at the y at 5 units high, and then finally I'm going to go back to the original point of 1.5, comma 3.5 to close off this square. That is absolute relative coordinate entry, or absolute coordinate entry. Okay, and I'm going to hit the enter button to finish off the command. I'm going to hit the space bar to bring back the command again, and this time we're going to use the relative coordinate entry. So in this case, we're going to start at 3, comma 6, which is still an absolute point, and from here it's going to be relative to that point. So relative to that point, I'm going to go 2.5 units. So I'm going to use the at symbol, which is shift and the number 2, and I'm going to go 2.5 units to the right on the x, and I'm going to go 0 units high on the y, and you can see there's where my line is. Then I'm going to go at 1.5 units, sorry, at 0 units on the x and 1.5 units high on the y. Then I'm going to come back at negative 2.5 units on the x and no units on the y. You can see it's there. My final one is I can type in the at symbol and then go negative 1.5, comma 0, but in this case I'm going to use the letter C to close off my rectangle. There is absolute coordinate entry and relative coordinate entry. And this concludes this tutorial.